स्वरूपी रहयो पर पान मथुरा कछ भेद नहीं। गुर अर्जुन परतख हर डंडाउत बंदन अनक बार सर्व कला समरथ। डोलन ते राखो प्रभु नानक दे कर हाथ। तेरे जोर मैं गूंगा कहता हूँ तेरा सदका तेरी शरण।
सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी। तिहटड़े बाजार सौदा करन वन जारिया। साच वखर जिनी लद्या से सचड़े पासार। ते हटड़े बाजार।
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। धन धन सतगुरु पतित पावन भगत वत्सल किरपा दे खजाने जोत रूप धन साहिब श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी दी गुरु खालसा साध संगत साहिब जीओ। We're blessed again to be gathered together as we continue to reflect through this week at the Sikh2Inspire camp on this Baani from Sahib Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, the crown jewel of all Shaheeds. This is the Baani of Vaaran Vadheek, and it is the fifth Guru's teachings that we are reflecting on. Those extra Saloks when Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji compiled Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji for the first time, those extra Saloks of the first 5 Gurus, and then later Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji's Banis were added in this Baani which comes towards the end of Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Today we have remembered Sahib Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji Shahidi. Earlier this morning we reflected on how they were Shaheed, why they were Shaheed, and how they made that final sacrifice and left this world. This evening we have completed and we have been part of the completion of the Sri Saj part commemorating that Shahidi Divas. But at the same time, on these days of Shahidi from 1984, we've been reflecting on those Shaheeds who have taken on the teachings from that sacrifice of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, and they have taken that on, and that constant battle with oppression, that constant battle with oppression to gain that freedom that Tan Sahib Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji showed us. We have just heard the young children of the camp sing the Shabad. Tera kiya meetha lagay har naam padarth nanak mangay. Har ka naam hriday nit dhyayi sangi sakthi sagal tarai. Gur mere sang sada hai nale simar simrti sada samale. Tera kiya meetha lagay har naam padarth nanak mangay. That Shabad was first recited by Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji when their elder brother by Mahadev Sahib Ji left this world. And then the second time they recited it is when they were sat on that Tatti Tavi. That is the second time they recited that Shabad. And we heard and we reflected on that Shabad, and we reflected on the teachings that Har ka naam hriday nit dhyayi, forever reflect in our inner core on the name of the Lord. And not only will we be saved, Sangi Sathi Sagal Tarai, but all our friends, companions, relatives, they will also be saved with us. Guruji is always with us. Gur mera sang sada hai nale. And knowing that and accepting and believing and having faith in that, Simar Simarti Sada Samale, we forever, over and over again, meditate, remember your name, Nita Prati, constantly. And then the key teaching, living in this world, following that path, tera kiya meetha lage. Whatever the hukam, the command of the Almighty Lord, it is sweet to me. Because what do we want? Har naam padarat nanak mange. We just want the name of the Lord. We want to realize and experience that name in oneness. We want to become one with the Almighty and be liberated. So now, as we complete the 5th Guru's Saloks in Vaaran te Vadheek, let us focus and concentrate, and let us see how those teachings can be applied in our lives.
Satnam Sri Vaheguru Sahib Ji Tehatade Bajar Sauda Karan Vanjarya.
Tehatade Bajar. Tehatade are the 3 types of shops in Bajar, in the town. Sauda Karan Vanjarya. And the Vanjara, the trader, the one who's come to those shops to buy Sauda Karan, to make a trade, to buy some goods. ਅੱਗੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਫਰਮਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਨ
ਸੱਚ ਵਖਰ ਜੇਨੀ ਲੱਦਿਆ ਸੇ ਸਚੜੇ ਪਾਸਾਰ.
And such vakhar, if we buy the assets, the commodities of truth, such vakhar, jini laddeya, collect those and take those away with us, se sachade pasar, that is the true trade. But where are these shops? What are the 3 types of shops in this bazaar? What are we trying to buy? Let us read again and see what those shops are. Dware padho ji.
Tehatade bajar sauda karan vanjarya.
So first of all, let us reflect that this bazaar, the shops, the town, is this world, this creation. And then we have tehatade. We have the 3 types of shops, or the 3 types of commodities that we can buy from the shops in this world. This world, when Vaheguru created, they created this illusion, this maya. And there are 3 characteristics of maya: tamogun, rajogun, and satogun. Tamogun are the characteristics of tam, ignorance, not knowing, ignorant to the way of spirituality, ignorant to the way of the Almighty. In simplest terms, we can describe those as animalistic characteristics. So, if we choose to buy those in this world, then what are we doing? Just like animals, sleep, eat, reproduce. Sleep, eat, reproduce. And then our senses, our sensory organs, our physical sensory organs that we complete deeds and actions with, our 2 feet, our 2 hands, our tongue, our front and back private organs, they are called the 5 karam indre, the 5 action senses. And through those we walk to places where we shouldn't be going. We maybe steal with our hands, we partake in slander and gossip with our tongue, and we commit immoral activities with those private action organs. That is if we follow the path of tamogun, those animalistic instincts. Our sensory organs, the five Gianindra that give us knowledge, that the man uses to gain knowledge in this world: touch, hearing, sight, smell and taste. Through those 5 Gianindra, knowledge senses, we excite ourselves through the 5 thieves of lust, greed, anger, attachment and ego. So if we choose in this bazaar, in this world, to buy commodities from tamogun, committing sin, immoral activities, we will not become one with the Lord. And then this creation was also created with the 2nd characteristic called rajogun, the characteristic of Raje, of kings, of luxury. So characteristics of luxury are, if we focus on increasing our material wealth, our material assets, whether it's clothes, cars, houses, money, where our main focus of the mind is to accumulate more material, living like kings, living in luxury. And then Satogun. Now Satogun, Sat sounds like it is true, and Gun are the characteristics of Satogun. But because Satogun is under and used in this illusion, in this creation, in this Maya, in this material world, those characteristics may be simplistic, but they are done through ego and pride, selfishness, I-ness. So we may meditate on the name of the Lord. We may complete seva. But are we so self-centered that we have no compassion for others? Are we so self-centered that we slander and gossip about others? Are we so self-centered that we use others? If that is the case, then we won't receive oneness with the Almighty Lord. It may be that we develop spiritually and we develop different, as we say, occult powers, shaktiyan, riddhiyan, siddhiyan. And on the path of spirituality, due to that ego and pride, we do not progress. It's like when we were traveling here. If you imagine when we were traveling from our homes, we saw many great sights. And yes, we're on the move to reach this site, to come to this camp, but there was so much great scenery on the way that one could have stopped their car or their vehicle and stood outside and admired all of that. And sometimes in spirituality, if our pride takes over us, then we stop moving forward. It looks to the external world that we are very spiritual, reciting the name of the Lord, waking in the early hours, completing all the seva. But when there's there's selfishness, there's pride and ego, then we do not move. It doesn't matter how much we do, because all that we do is wasted through those negative deeds. Now they could be the characteristics we take from this world. But then further, for the spiritual seeker, the true spiritual seeker, this bajar, this town of shops, is also the Sadh Sangat. And if we decide to shop in the Sadh Sangat, then what can we shop for here? We can shop by learning how to live in the way of Gursikhi. And living in the way of Gursikhi, we reflect on Katha and Kirtan when we come into the Sangat. And Katha and Kirtan are both as equal as each other to help us develop spiritually. When we were reflecting yesterday about the different types of samadhiya, focus, and one was Shabad Savikalab Samadhi. That is when we focus and we listen to Kirtan, if you will. Because sometimes we don't understand what that Kirtan is, it will still have an effect on our spirituality. And then if we can understand, which was Ashabad Savikalap Samadhi, and our focus is on the meanings of the Gurbani, when we start understanding those, or we reflect in the Katha of the discourse, then if we can focus there, then we are on the way, because we are focusing on the meanings or reflecting on the teachings of Gurbani. But when we hear those teachings, what three qualities must we buy from this shop of the Sadh Sangat? We must learn and buy how to Sunan, Mannan, Nidhyasan, how to listen, how to believe, and how to follow the teachings of our Guru. They are the three commodities we buy in the Sadh Sangat. So when we listen to the teachings, I've said this many times over for years. Some of you may have heard this, but sometimes we have to reflect constantly. I myself have to remind myself that when we listen to the teachings, that is only 1/3 of what we need to achieve. Because once we listen to the teachings, we must believe in those teachings. We must have that undying, unwavering faith, that tiraj, the quality we reflected on a couple of days ago, where there's perseverance, where there's no wavering, where there's a fortitude of patience and faith that we will be blessed. The tiraj is very, very important. But when we listen, we have to believe. We have to believe what our Guru is telling us. Those Gursikhs that we reflected on earlier in the documentary, they listened and they believed. They had faith in their Guru. And that is why they were able to sacrifice themselves only just so many years, decades ago from today. But we also have to follow the teachings. If we don't follow the teachings and we only listen and we only believe, then we won't be able to achieve our goals of becoming one with the Lord. I use an example of school and in exams. When your teachers teach you in schools, first we listen, then we have to believe in their methodology, then we have to do what they've taught us when it comes to the exam. In the same way, in the path of Gursikhi, we have to listen, believe and follow all the teachings that Guruji Sahibji blesses us with. And then how will we reflect on those? There are 3 other commodities in this shop, in these shops of the Sadh Sangat. Te Hattade Bajar. What are those 3? How do we listen, believe and follow those teachings? We follow them Man, Baani, Sarir karke. Man is our mind, our inner core. Whatever we are taught, we have to enshrine that within our inner core. We have to meditate on the name of the Lord. Baani, with our speech. We have to see, and if we don't realize initially that God exists in all, we have to commit our speech knowing that God exists in all. So when we're slandering, are we really slandering the Almighty? Because it was under their hukam that whatever happened occurred for us to make that slander or gossip. When we talk negatively about somebody because we have jealousy, it is only in the command of the Lord that that person may be greater than us, so we have jealousy for them, or they have something that we want. But when in our Baani, in our speech, we meditate on the name of the Lord, then we realize that that is the way to oneness. And Sarir karke is with our body. Just like those Sikhs that we heard about today, Singhs, Singhaniya and even children that sacrificed themselves only some decades ago. They with their man, they believed, they listened, believed and followed. With their speech, they spoke the truth. They spoke and stood for righteousness. They weren't wavered and changed their speech or changed their stand with different groups that they visited. Whatever they said once, that is how they lived their life out till the end. And then with their sarir, because this sarir is just a collection of mitti, of mud, the sarir will be left here. And they decided to sacrifice their sarir. Pehla maran kabul, jeevan ki shad aas. They gave up the thought of living, accepting death, because that is the only one truth that is definitely that's going to happen in this world, death. So if that is definitely going to happen, why not we accept it straight away as our Guru teaches us? If you think of those Singhs that they were talking earlier today, when they left Sri Harmandir Sahib, and they made that promise to Guruji that yes, we are leaving today, we wanted to stay and sacrifice today, but actually from this day forth, even if we leave, we tell all our families and friends that we are dead from today. So don't expect anything from us, because we will continue that fight and struggle against oppression. They decided on that day to be dead to the world. I'm not saying we go back to our families and we sacrifice and give everything up, because everything happens in achievable steps. But what we must have is our mindset has to be in that way that one day we will all leave this world. Will we be ready to leave this world in the right way? Or will we have to come and go in the birth and death life cycle? So tehattade bajar, sauda karan ban jariya. We've come to this world. We can choose the characteristics of Rajogun, Tamogun, Satogun. Or in this world we can find the Sadh Sangat and shop in that place. And there we will learn how to listen, believe and follow the teachings through our mind, our inner core, man, through our speech, Baani, and through our body, our sarir. And then what will happen, Guru Sahibji tells us,
Sach vakhar jini ladya se sachade pasar.
And then we will be able to buy the commodity of truth, the form of truth. We will become one with the Almighty Lord. We will collect that commodity of the name of the Lord, and then we will become one with the Lord and be liberated.
Pantha prem na janai puli fere gawar.
But those who are gawar, who are lost, those who are ignorant, those who are foolish, puli fere, they are wandering. Where are they wandering? First of all, we have wandered throughout the birth and death life cycle, being ignorant and foolish. And now we sometimes wander in this world from place to place, hoping we will find what we need. But what haven't we done? Pantha prem na janai. We have not known janai, pantha prem. The love of the way, the path, the panth of the Guru. What is the path of the Guru? The path of the Guru is to put your hands on your, just like Baba Deep Singh did, is to put your C's on your hand and you walk in the way of your Guru. Jao to prem khilan ka chao, sir tar tali gali meri aao. It marg pair tari jai, sir dijai, kaan na kijai. Do not waste any time. Place your head in your hands and walk in that path of love. That is how we walk in that path. We take that head and we offer it to the Guru Khalsa, the Panj Pyare. And when we offer it there, we make promises to all those disciplines that they give us. Now those disciplines may seem physical, and what is the need of those? Because if it's only about Naam Japana, we can do that without having that discipline. But if we try to do that, many have tried in the previous ages without that discipline, and they have not reached Vaheguru. And that is why Jot Roop Har Aap Guru Nanak Kahayo, Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji had to come to this world, so the people of the world in Kaljug can be liberated. Because on our own, we cannot pass the first obstacle, let alone this path of spirituality. Pantha prem na janai. We have not known the way of love. We have not known how to walk in that way, and that is why in ignorance we are not only wandering in this world, but we are wandering in the birth and death life cycle.
Nanak har bisraye ka paunde narak andehar.
Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji's fifth form, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji decree, Nanak har bisraye ka, by forgetting the Almighty Lord Hari Akal Purkh Vaheguru. Where do we fall? Paude. We are going to fall narak andeyar, in the deep and andeyar, darkest narak hells. Yes, there are hells. There are 7 hells, and the deepest and darkest one is called Rasatal. Rasatal is the deepest and darkest. And we will have to spend time there. And then from there, when we are allowed to leave that place, we will have to come and go in the birth and death life cycle. And we will be in such a place that if we think we know about Vaheguru now, because we're in the sanctuary of the Guru, we will have that, and there, we will be in darkness, that whatever our brain function is like, or man or inner core, we won't even be able to think that there is a Vaheguru. We will be caught up in that life. Yesterday we were reflecting that even stones, patthar, we've been on hikes, we've been to the beach. Now that beach, you saw some sand. Now those sand would have been rocks many, many years ago. And only now they have turned to sand. After thousands of years, in some cases millions of years. If we end up in a darkness like that, we won't have an inner core or a mind function to be able to tell us to repeat the name of the Lord. We will be there for millions of years before we even again get the opportunity. So why take the risk in this life when we have come to the sanctuary of the Guru? Why take a risk in this life to waste this great opportunity? There are many in the world that don't have this opportunity. We have all been blessed to come to the sanctuary of the Guru. So let us make that conscious decision that we are going to walk on that path of love, and so we can become one with the Vaheguru.
Maya manoh na visare manga dhamma dhamma.
And people like me, manga dhamma dham. With each and every breath, dhamma dham can translate to breath. I ask for, what do I ask for? Dhamma dham. Dham stands for dhamada, coins, money. I have started asking for money and wealth and material assets. And due to maya, manoh na visare, we have lost the way of the Lord, and we have started to ask for material assets with each and every breath. Jitte we were going to use that breath to repeat the name of the Lord, we are now using that breath to ask for more and more.
So prab chetna yave nanak nahi karam.
And in my chit, that third part of my inner core of my mind within, so prab chit na avai, I cannot even remember or focus on the Almighty. Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji's fifth form decree, Nanak nahi karam. And then what will I have to do? I will probably cry and wail, saying, Mere karman ch nahi si. It was not in my deeds, it was not in my destiny to become one with the Lord. But actually, it is in all our destinies. It is in all our karams. Because if it wasn't in our karams, we wouldn't even have the opportunity to sit in the sanctuary of the King of Kings, to sit in the sanctuary of the Almighty Lord on this earth, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, in the Sadh Sangat, which Sangat Har Prabh said you, where the Almighty resides. We would never have that opportunity if it wasn't in our destiny. So we shouldn't ever cry out that it's not in our karam. What we should do is when we walk on this path, we make a concerted effort to realize that we are blessed, and so we must not waste this opportunity.
Techar mool na thodindo jechar aap kripal.
And if we think while we're in this world that I'm going to run out of my material assets, Guru Sahib Ji is teaching us, Techar mool na thodindo, those assets, these blessings will never run out. Jichar aap kripal, those who are blessed, who the Lord is merciful to, who He grants His grace on, Tichar mulna thodindo, nothing will ever run out. And even when we meditate on the name of the Lord, those blessings will never run out. They stay with us, they accumulate, and we should never think that those opportunities will leave us.
Sabad akhot Baba Nanaka khahe kharch dhan mal.
Sabad, the name of the Lord, is akhot. It never runs out. The treasure never runs out. Baba Nanaka khahe kharach tan mal. You can spend that over and over again. Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji decree, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, that you can spend that over and over again. When you are blessed with the name of the Lord, that will never run out.
Khamba vikandade jelha kinna savi tola.
So now Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji show us what our mindset should be. If we're a true seeker, what should our mindset be? Khamba vikandade. If khamba are wings, vikandade, if they're being sold, jelaha, if I'm able to buy those, how would I buy those? Kinna savi tol. I would weigh them like in the old days when we go to shops, flour would be weighed and you would pay for the weight of that commodity. So those wings, the wings, if they're being sold in this shop, then I would give my worth in weight. I would give the worth of those wings, of the weight of those wings in gold to buy those wings. But what are those wings? Baani and Bana. For us that are just starting out on this path, those wings are Baani and Bana. Without one, a bird cannot fly. A bird needs two wings to fly. If you have one, it may jump around, but if you have both, you can fly to Vaheguru. Baani, we have a minimum level of Baani that we have to recite. Sri Japji Sahib, that gives us the knowledge of Vaheguru. Sri Jap Sahib, when we sing the praises, Twai Prasad Savaiye, which destroys any hypocrisy that we may have, and it develops that bairag, that love for the Lord within. And Chaupi Sahib, that protects us before we find that extreme bliss with Anand Sahib. And then in the evening, our place in Sachkhand is confirmed with Sri Rara Sahib. And then at night when we're asleep, we continue to be protected with Rakhya-de Shabad and Kirtan Sohila. That is the minimum Baani of the Gursikh. And then we have a Bana. We have our case Guru ke Morhan. They're the stamp of the Guru. They're the Pashan of the Guru. They are the form of the Guru. We are not to disrespect our hair from the bottom of our toes to the top of our head. We are not to color them. We're not to tie them. We're not to thread them. We're not to trim them. We're not to give heating to them. We're not to do any disrespect to our case. That is the way of the Guru. There's no point hiding from that. That is the teaching of the Guru. And that teaching wasn't just given to us by Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji. The teaching was first of case given to us by Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. When Pai Mardana Ji, the Rababiya, came to Guruji's sanctuary, Guruji said, you will stay with me, but there are 3 teachings. And one of those teachings was, you are never to cut your case. Actually, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, gave that teaching to Pai Mardana Ji's mother when she was crying and said, he's my 7th son and they've all died before him and I've named him Mar Jana, he's going to die. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji says, if you do not ever disrespect his case, his hair, fir Mardana, he will never die. And that is how he was known as Mardana Ji. And then, apart from the case, Guru Sahib Ji has blessed us with a kada, a sarbalo, all iron bangle that we wear on our right hand, reminding us that we're Guru ke Sikh, that we don't do negative deeds with these hands. We have a karpan, a sarbalo karpan, and when we defend against oppression, we do pog to deg and langar. But also when we practice spirituality, no negative spirits come near us. We have a wooden comb to keep our case clean and fresh daily, reminding us how to break attachment to the world. And then we have a kashera to show us that the lifestyle of a Gursikh has to be as what they call Ucha Sucha, highest of the high, purest of the pure, remembering every day that that is the life of a Gursikh. Though that is the Bana of the Gursikh. And then, even if we take Amrit, if we think, I've taken Amrit, I've wear the kakar, I don't need to do my Nitnem, one wing will not allow us to fly. But if we reflect further, spiritually, because let's say we've taken Amrit, let's say we practice meditation, what are those kambs? What are those wings? One wing is Gyan, wisdom, when we're listening, believing and following the Gyan, the teachings of our Guru. And the other wing is Bairag, is losing the love of the material world and attaching only to the love of the Almighty Lord. And kinna savi tol, how will I buy that? How will I buy those wings? I will buy that with love. Because if I show love throughout all creation, because Vaheguru exists in all creation, I will be blessed with those wings. And when we listen, believe and follow the teachings, we give up attachment, emotional attachment to the material world, and we lose love for any itcha, any wants we might have from the heavens, and we develop love with the Almighty Lord, then we will be able to fly.
Tan jadai apne laha so sajjan tola.
Tan is our body, jadai is to join those wings to our body, apne. Join those wings then. If we are not Amritari, have that target to take on the Baani and Bana of our Guru. If we are Amritari or we practice spirituality, take on the wings of divine wisdom, listening, believing, following that wisdom. Developing love for Vaheguru, giving up love for the material world. Join those wings onto our body, then Laha so sajjanatol. Then we can find Vaheguru. And not only will we find Vaheguru physically, think about this spiritually. When we meditate, we are trying to find Vaheguru within. We are searching, walking on that path within. And when we meditate on the name of the Lord with those wings of Bairag, because when we meditate, things come into our mind, dragging us back into the attachment of this world. But if we have Bairag, we won't think, those thoughts won't come into our mind. And if we have Gyan, all we will think about, the Gyan is the Upadesh, is the blessing of Naam that we are to be reciting. We will focus, when our mind will wander, we will bring it back to the focus on the Shabad of the Guru. We will focus again on the Simran that we are doing. And as we do more and more, we will develop so much love that we will not want to stop. And then we will be able to Laha, when we put those wings on, so Sajjanatol, we'll be able to find our friend within our inner core. We will go through the processing function of our mind where thoughts come. We will surpass the intellect which make negative decisions for us. We will surpass our memory which keeps us attached to our memories in this life. And we will subdue our pride and ego. And beyond there, beyond that place, is the Supreme Almighty Lord's divine light. And when we reach there, that divine light will shine brightly and it will never turn off. And we will enjoy that extreme bliss of oneness with the Lord. Knowing all of these teachings, let us reflect who we are reciting for, who we are reciting to. Who is Akal Purkh Vaheguru? In these last two panktiyan, Tan Sahib Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji show us this way and show us the way to oneness.
ਸੱਜਣ ਸੱਚਾ ਪਾਤ ਸਾਹੋ ਸਿਰ ਸਾਹਾਂ ਦੈ ਸਾਹੋ.
That friend, that sajjan of ours who we are trying to find, who is he? Sacha Pat Saho. He is the true king. But not only is he the king, Sir Sahan De Saho. He is the king on the heads of all other kings. Whether you think they're material, worldly kings, this Vaheguru is the king of all spiritual kings. Because he is the blesser of all spiritual kings in this world, those Gurmukhs. He is their king. He is the king of the Sadh Sangat. He is the king of kings. Akal Purkh Vaheguru, Tan Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji.
ਜਿਸ ਪਾਸ ਬਹਿਠਿਆ ਸੋਹੀਐ ਸਭਨਾ ਦਾ ਵਿਸਾਹੋ.
And we have been blessed that we are able to sit with that king. Jis paas baitheya. And when we sit with that king, and that king in this world is Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and the Guru Khalsa in the Sadh Sangat. And we have been blessed to sit with that king. And when we sit with that king, sohiya, we are glorified. We are blessed with Sobha. We become glorious. We become honored. Honored to be able to sit with the King of Kings, to call him our friend, to call him our Almighty Lord, our husband Lord. Sabana Dave Saho. He is the support of all. And when we take him on as the support, then we will reach oneness with Akal Purkh Vaheguru. This is the Baani, the Saloks of Tan Sahib Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj. We have been reflecting on these throughout this week. If we even take one teaching from this camp, if we haven't kept our case, let us make this promise that we are going to keep our case. If we've already got our case, but we disrespect them, let us say we're not going to disrespect them anymore. If we don't disrespect them, let us take on that bana, because first we move externally. Let us recite the name of the Lord. Let us develop this nitnem. And when we do that, let us focus on meditation. Maybe our target is to stop slandering and gossiping. Maybe our target is to go to the Gurdwara. Let us find achievable steps that will continue and blessing us, allowing us to walk on this path of spirituality. These last few years, many people have had anguish because they haven't been able to find that peace, that tranquility. The camp's theme was Shukranna, a thankfulness that we were allowed to come again to do this Sangat in this way. So let us not waste this opportunity. This is the King of Kings. Today is the Shahidi Diyada of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. We've heard the teachings of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji this week, and also at the same time we have reflected on how their sacrifice set us up to be here. And we were hearing earlier on, there is a pankti in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Japyo Jin Arjan Dev Guru. Those who remember and meditate on Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, Japyo Jin, those who meditate on Arjan Dev Guru, the greatest Akal Purkh Vaheguru Tan Sahib Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. Fir Sankat Jon Garb Nahi Ayo. They will never ever have to come again in Sankat, in the coming and going of the birth and death life cycle, in life, in transmigration. Sankat Jon Garb Nahi Ayo. They will not have to come into a womb again, because they will be one with the Almighty Lord. Let us, for 5 times, I will recite first, you recite after. Let us, because if we meditate on Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, that is what that Gurbani says. Let us listen, believe, and follow that. Let us meditate on Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, and then we will read these last 2 panktiyan, then it will be Smapti. But let us do that 5 times together. And if we do that, and we really believe and follow and take on these steps to progress, then Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji won't let any of us fall into that womb again, or fall into transmigration. Japyo Jina Arjan Dev Guru, Japyo Jina Arjan Dev Guru, Fir Sankat Jon Garb Na Ayo.
फिर संकट जोन गर्भ न आयो.
जपयो जिन अर्जन देव गुरु, फिर संकट जोन गर्भ न आयो.
ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਗੁਰੂ ਫਿਰ ਸੰਕਟ ਜੋਨ ਗਰਭ ਨ ਆਇਆ।
ਜਪਿਓ ਜਿਨ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਗੁਰੂ ਫਿਰ ਸੰਕਟ ਜੋਨ ਗਰਭ ਨਹਿ ਆਇਓ।
ਜਪਿਓ ਜਿਨ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਗੁਰੂ ਫਿਰ ਸੰਕਟ ਜੋਨ ਗਰਭ ਨ ਆਇਆ।
ਜਪਿਓ ਜਿਨ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਗੁਰੂ ਫਿਰ ਸੰਕਟ ਜੋਨ ਗਰਭ ਨਹਿ ਆਇਓ।
ਜਪਿਓ ਜਿਨ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਗੁਰੂ ਫਿਰ ਸੰਕਟ ਜੋਨ ਗਰਭ ਨ ਆਇਆ।
ਜਪਿਓ ਜਿਨ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਗੁਰੂ ਫਿਰ ਸੰਕਟ ਜੋਨ ਗਰਭ ਨਹਿ ਆਇਓ।
ਜਪਿਓ ਜਿਨ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਗੁਰੂ ਫਿਰ ਸੰਕਟ ਜੋਨ ਗਰਭ ਨ ਆਇਆ।
ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਰਤਾਜ, the crown jewel of all shaheeds, who gives us that blessing that we continue. Remember, they gave the sacrifice. The next Guru showed us how to stand up against oppression. And forever forth after that time, we have stood up against oppression. First, let us stand up against the oppression of the 5 thieves within us. When we defeat those 5 thieves, let us then stand up against the oppression in the world, and then we will be blessed with that Raj of Khalsa that Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji blessed us with. Deho sajjan asisriyan jo hova Sahib sumel lekha katha na shutiya khin khin pulanhar baksanhar baksla Nanak par utar. 2 ਪੰਕਤੀਆਂ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ।
ਸੱਜਣ ਸੱਚਾ ਪਾਤ ਸਾਹੋ
ਸਿਰ ਸਾਂਦੈ ਸਾਹੋ
ਜਿਸ ਪਾਸ ਬੈਠਿਆ ਸੋਹੀਐ
ਸਭਨਾ ਦਾ ਵਿਸਾਹੋ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਰਾਮ ਕਲੀ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਤੀਜਾ। ਆਨੰਦ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਆਨੰਦ ਭਇਆ ਮੇਰੀ ਮਾਏ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਇਆ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰਤਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਸਹਿਜ ਸੇਤੀ ਮਨ ਵਜੀਆ ਵਾਧਾਇਆ। ਰਾਗ ਰਤਨ ਪਰਵਾਰ ਪਰਿਆ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗਾਵਨ ਆਇਆ। ਸ਼ਬਦੋਤਾ ਗਾਵਹੁ ਹਰੀ ਕੇਰਾ ਮਨ ਜਿਨੀ ਵਸਾਇਆ। ਕਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਆਨੰਦ ਹੋਆ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਇਆ। ਏ ਮਨ ਮੇਰਿਆ ਤੂੰ ਸਦਾ ਰਹੋ ਹਰ ਨਾਲੇ। ਹਰ ਨਾਲ ਰਹੋ ਤੂੰ ਮਨ ਮੇਰੇ। ਦੁਖ ਸਭ ਵਿਸਾਰਨਾ ਅੰਗੀਕਾਰ ਉਹ ਕਰੇ ਤੇਰਾ। ਕਾਰਜ ਸਭ ਸਵਾਰਨਾ ਸਭਨਾ ਗੱਲਾ ਸਮਰੱਥ ਸੁਆਮੀ। ਸੋ ਕਿਉ ਮਨੋ ਵਿਸਾਰੇ ਕਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਮਨ ਮੇਰੇ। ਸਦਾ ਰਹੋ ਹਰ ਨਾਲੇ। ਸਾਚੇ ਸਾਹਿਬਾ ਕਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਘਰ ਤੇਰਾ। ਘਰ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਸਭ ਕਿਛ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਦੇਹ ਸੋ ਪਾਵੇ। ਸਦਾ ਸਿਫਤ ਸਲਾਹ ਤੇਰੀ ਨਾਮ ਮਨ ਵਸਾਵੇ। ਨਾਮ ਜਿਨ ਕੈ ਮਨ ਵਸਿਆ ਵਾਜੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਕਨੇਰੇ। ਕਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਸੱਚੇ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਘਰ ਤੇਰਾ। ਸਾਚਾ ਨਾਮ ਮੇਰਾ ਆਧਾਰੋ ਸਾਚ ਨਾਮ ਆਧਾਰ ਮੇਰਾ। ਜਿਨ ਭੁੱਖਾ ਸਭ ਗਵਾਈਆ ਕਰ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਸੁਖ ਮਨ ਆਏ ਵਸਿਆ। ਜਿਨ